to the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradley and Emery in the morning, y'all. LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater and I'm scoring. Bradley and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all paying Ziffy, I'm Ken Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing, Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SB, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradley and Emery.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Bradley in the morning. Marques, Justin, Emery.
I almost died during that intro. I think I just swallowed that entire bottle of water in one gulp as it went from 3, 2, 1, and I almost drowned. So I've learned that I'm not Michael Phelps.
Well, ugly night last night at the Wells Fargo Center.
Whoa.
Sixers go down to Boston 135-87. Listen, I'm not going to overreact to this. You know, this is one of those things. Oh, excuse me, man. I thought Steve's about to come on, but it's one of those things where through the course of the NBA season, these things are going to happen. You're going to have these games that just it doesn't make sense. Sixers right now are playing with a short deck. You got a red hot Boston team, as we mentioned on Monday. Come in. They've won now 9 in a row. They're playing really good basketball. They have committed to playing defense, which is always important.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have figured it out, which is scary for us in the NBA.
Jaylen Brown was on fire last
night. He was ridiculous last night. He really was. I mean, Jason Tatum too had some that one-on-one in the first half. That one-on-one on Embiid was just disturbing. That hits the step fadeaway jump shot. But they were rolling from the beginning. They came out and jumped off to an early lead. They were up 11-2 before you could blink.
Yeah.
They never really looked back after that. Sixers made a run late second quarter, but, you know, Boston just shut it back down, and we're up over 20, and then we're up by almost 30 coming right out of the break. So one of those games you just throw away. You just don't it's not even something you really need to think about and focus on. That's not who the Sixers are. We know that. And
it was the biggest deficit any team has faced this season in the NBA. I mean, obviously, most teams don't get down by 40 to 50 points in a single game. But as it was happening, I think they were down 27 at halftime, 24-27, something like that.
I think it was like 64-42 or something like that.
Yeah. Once I think it was 69-42 at halftime. When things like that happen, you play 82 games in a season, you throw this away. It happened. You got blown out. You're playing with a short deck. You're down. Essentially, Millsap. He played 5 minutes for you.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, you were playing with you're not even your B squad. You were playing with your C squad last night. That game doesn't happen like that when James Harden's on the court.
Yeah, I mean, listen, course of the season, it sometimes it doesn't even matter who's in the court. You just go through games like that. I mean, they shot at one point. They were shooting 26% from the field, like that killed them to the first quarter. Well, really, the first and most of the second quarter, they could not make a basket.
No
shots I've seen them make all year were not going in. And you're gonna have games like that. Things like that are gonna happen. It's no big deal. Obviously, I don't think anyone's panicking or stressed out about it. It's one of those things you just laugh off. Like sometimes, I remember back in the day playing a game with a guy who was red hot, and he hits a ridiculous shot in your face. You just laugh and go back down the court and say, "Well, can't do anything about that." That's kind of how you have to feel. You have to throw that game out and just move on. I believe the Sixers have beaten Boston both times they played them, and beating them handily both times they played them.
Double-digit wins both times.
Revenge. Came in here with some pride. They lose Marcus Smart with a sprained ankle in the first half. Keep an eye on that because he's obviously a huge part of what they do and a huge part of the culture over there. So we'll see how that shans out. But the big news of the day was we heard from James Harden. We heard from him. He had
before we move, two more points about the Celtics game yesterday. First off, Thibel's shooting too many threes for my liking right now.
Well, I want him to shoot threes. That's
Yeah.
what you need that.
He was 0 for 5 from beyond in the first half alone.
Keep jacking. That's the only way. That's the only way he's going to get into that role. You want him to be 3-and-D. He can't be 3-and-D if he's not shooting threes.
But
keep jacking.
He needs, though, he's unlike Korkmaz couldn't buy a bucket either. I know he hit some threes yesterday, but he was real bad last night as well. And that was my second point. Is that when Korkmaz isn't hitting threes, he's useless for you. However, I think he was 2 for 7, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't have Thibault out here going 0 for 5 from beyond the arc and 0 for 7 shooting in the first half.
Well, yeah. I mean, but yesterday was basically the whole team. I mean, nobody was shooting well yesterday. And Korkmaz, he is who he is. He's a 30% three-point shooter who will occasionally get hot randomly and shoot 5 for 7. This is just who Furkan Korkmaz is. Like, that's just who he is. He's never going to be a consistent three-point shooter. It's going to be, he'll go through stretches, 3 to 5 games where he's shooting 5 for 7, 6 for 8, but most of it is going to be a 2 for 7, 3 for 7. That's just who he is. I think we've seen enough of him to know what kind of guy he is. Matisse Thybulle, I still have hope that he's going to turn into a decent three-point shooter. Do I think he's going to be a lights-out three-point shooter? No. Is he going to be, Seth Curry? No. Is he going to be Joe Harris? Probably not. But I would like to see him shoot enough where he can get that percentage up to like 38%, which is league average.
I mean, nobody was going to stop the Celtics last night. It didn't matter what the Sixers did; they were going to lose that game. But Thibault going 0 for 5 doesn't help the cause in the first half. Right. I checked out after halftime. I mean, I had the game on. I wasn't as intently paying attention to it in the second half as I was in the first because I knew they weren't going to come back. And once they got down, mid-30s, halfway through the third quarter, you knew you weren't going to see Embiid in the fourth quarter.
No.
And
they made that little run at towards the end of the second quarter where they got to 57-38, somewhere in there. It was like, okay, if they can get this to 12 at halftime, they might be able to make a run in the second half. And then Boston just came right back and got it over 20 right after that timeout, which, by the way, great timeout by the coach.
Yep.
Great timeout by the coach. Even though you're up by double digits and you're humming, you see the writing on the wall. You see the momentum starting to change. Get that timeout. Regroup the troops. Let's get back out here and do what we're doing. And then what happens? They go right back out there. They get the lead back over 20 again. Squash that momentum before it even gets started.
Yeah. I mean, Celtics coming in here, what, 7, 8, 9 in a row, something like that.
They're 9 in a row now. They're
8 in a row. The team's hot. You're playing down a few guys. It's going to happen. So.
Yep. So, press conferences yesterday.
Wait till number 1 comes back. Then we're good.
Yep. Harden, speaking of number 1, had his first words as a 76er. Pretty run-of-the-mill, typical press conference. Nothing really outrageous. I will say this. I thought it was interesting when he did admit that this was always a place he wanted to be first. And he didn't really get into Brooklyn a lot. He didn't really want to talk about that. But you can tell by the body language that, everything that we heard about what was going on in Brooklyn was true. He talked about Kyrie, him and KD only being on 4-16 games, which was unfortunate, as he mentioned. And again, he talked about this being the destination he always wanted. But we know why that didn't happen. The Rockets were not going to deal Daryl Morey to fill. They weren't going to work with Daryl Morey if they even said, we'll trade you James Harden for Jesus Christ, one for one. It wasn't going to happen.
We said this last year during the trade deadline that Houston, it didn't matter if they were offering them Simmons, Embiid, and 10 first-round picks.
Yeah,
they were not.
They weren't
trading James Harden to Daryl Morey
because the package actually was better. They offered them Simmons and Maxey.
A much better package.
Simmons, Maxey, and Thibault. But I know it was Simmons and Maxey.
I think there was some first-round picks there too.
Yeah, it was a great package that really on hindsight, so happy it didn't work out that way.
Yes.
And so, but anyway, he talked.
That was a spite move. That was a spite move by I don't know who the GM of the Rockets is, but I know that it's the Tillman Fertitta family that has that owns it. They were just doing that to spite Morey. Nothing else than that. That was a spite move. I love the fact his response when he was asked if they could win a championship this year. Flat out, Stone Cold Steve Austin, hell yeah, love it. Yep.
Love that energy. You could tell he's very happy to be here. A rarity for the city of Philadelphia where a superstar athlete chooses us. So that
he didn't look fat at that press conference, did he?
Say again.
He didn't look fat at the press conference.
He looked in very good shape. I've been watching him shoot around the practice videos. I thought it was hilarious watching him try to teach Joel Embiid his step back.
Mm-hmm.
Joel actually tried to use in the game last night, and it was disastrous.
I think Joel's just too big to do that move.
But it was so funny because you see it was Joel, Sam Cassell, and Joel, Sam Cassell, Maxey, and Harden. And Harden's like going through the step back, and then Joe does it, and you hear Sam go, "That's a travel," and he goes, "That's 4 steps," because Joel's doing like the gallop, and it's not as smooth as because with Harden it is technically a travel, I'm sure, but he's so smooth with it. You can't even tell.
And when he does that high dribble.
Right.
So, but no,
again,
all the videos of him trying to do it, and they're just laughing at him.
Yeah. It was funny.
He's too big. He's too big, and don't get me wrong, Joel Embiid for being 7'2", whatever he is, 280, 300 pounds. He's graceful for being that big.
Yeah.
But that just because you're graceful for being that big doesn't classify you as graceful.
Agreed.
Because he doesn't. Because when and it's still ugly. What did you used to say when he falls? What does it look like when Embiid falls or when he runs?
Baby giraffe. Just learning how to walk.
Yeah. So you can't do that Euro step back one hand not when you're that big.
No, it's a lot. But so listen, we've heard from James Harden pretty much all season. And you knew he wasn't going to give you too much. His press conference, like I said, was pretty typical stuff. That's why we're not going to play any sound from his. However, meanwhile in Brooklyn, we hear from Ben Simmons for the first time since Father's Day of 2021. And he did not disappoint at all with the things that was coming out of his face. He had a lot to say. The press conference lasted about 15 minutes. And he had a lot to say. Listen, one of the jobs as an agent, I believe, is to prepare your client for moments like this.
Mm-hmm.
He did not seem prepared for this at all. He seemed like he was freestyling. And when you haven't spoken in 6-7 months and people are waiting to hear from you, it's going to be a lot of uncomfortable questions because it's an uncomfortable situation. You need to be prepared. I'm kind of surprised he didn't start with a written statement because Ben has never been great, good, average during press conferences or talking to the media. It's not something he does well.
That's not in his skill set.
Not in skill set at all. So I'm surprised there wasn't a written statement to address a lot of the things because you're going to hear this now. We're going to play some clips. And he's all over the place. He's contradicted himself left and right. Right from the rip, he contradicts himself. And this is honestly a lot of the things that he said during this press conference is going to be the reason he's going to get that money back from the Sixers because he again is all over the place about the mental health issues and things. So we're going to start playing these clips and we're going to just break them down one by one. So let's start with clip number 1.
Oh, yeah, we have a lot of audio.
By the way, this gets underway quickly. They didn't waste any time. No punches pulled. I thought the media up there did a really good job. First question out the gate. Let's get it started because it gets right to it.
Oh, we got a lot of audio. I was busy this morning. You ready? Clip 1, you said? Fire it away.
Clip 1.
Or mind made up and, until you were out of Philadelphia, you were definitely not going to play again.
For me, it was just making sure mentally I was right to get out there and play again. So that's something I've been, dealing with. And it wasn't about the fans or coaches or comments made by anybody. It was just a personal thing for me. That was earlier than, that series or even that season that I was dealing with. And that organization knew that. So it was something that, I continue to deal with, and, I'm getting there and getting to the right place to, get back on the floor.
So it's a couple things there that didn't make sense. First of all, he says it wasn't about the coaches, fans, or anybody. Okay, then who was it about then? Because then there's no reason you're behind shouldn't have been on the court then. It wasn't about any of these people. Another thing that people are saying that I completely agree with is the problem with this whole mental health thing. We talked about the live stuff and we went over that, and that's pretty well documented by this point, all the things that was going on with his family, which I brought up, and I believe definitely could lead to some mental strife, no question. Here's the biggest problem that he's going to have to. This is the one question I would have asked him, because he didn't answer this, because he wasn't asked the question. Why did you wait till October to bring up mental health if that was the number one thing that was really bothering you? Why did you wait till you got to Philadelphia and you realized they were going to want you to come back and play? Why was that the first time we heard about this mental health? Because from all over the summer, it wasn't about mental health. It was about you wanting to be traded. So if it was just, I need to get my mental right before I come back here, why didn't you say that over the summer? And why wasn't there a plan that you had to get back in this organization? The reason why is because you never wanted to play here again. That's why.
Well, he said that the organization knew that ahead of time.
I don't think it did.
However, John Clark reported yesterday that he spoke to people. Yes, Johnny Airport said that the team was never made aware of that prior to October.
Yeah, and that's when
he's one of the people on the short list that has the inner working connections. Like, if John Clark says it, then it's probably
1,000. And listen, man, these teams, there's leaks everywhere. So if there was a mental health aspect of this, we would have heard about it way before October. It would have been talked about over the summer. And again, that wasn't where you were coming from, because you were talking about you wanted to be traded. You said that literally the day after Father's Day. You wanted to be out of here. That's what you really wanted. And the mental health thing, this is where it gets funny, because people are like questioning, and they have every right to. Because why didn't you bring this up 6 months previous? If you're saying you were dealing with this before the playoffs, why did you ask for time off? Because you played through the playoffs. And then, listen, there's that rumor out there that he was trying to get out of Game 7 because he didn't want to deal with the pressure of Game 7. There's that rumor out there. So it's a lot, but let's keep it rolling. Clip number 2.
There was so much like sourced reporting around everything going on with you. So I guess so you're saying that the mental health issue preceded you requesting the trade in the off season. Okay, I guess, can you just shed a little light on the timeline and everything?
Yeah, for me, that was never, the mental health has nothing to do with just the trade. It was a bunch of things that I was dealing with as a person in my personal life that I don't really want to go into depth with. But yeah, I'm here now. So, it's a blessing to be, in an organization like this. And, I'm just looking forward to getting back on the floor and building something great here.
So again, the contradictions right off the gate, the contradictions. And this clip number 2 is why he will not be seeing $1 from the Sixers from all that money he lost in fines. What did he say at top? The mental health had nothing to do with it. Ben, that's your entire argument. The mental health was your whole stance of why you did not report to the Sixers to play for them.
I'm going to play that same clip again.
Okay.
Just to emphasize the point you just made, okay? I'm just going to replay that same clip.
All right.
There was so much like sourced reporting around everything going on with you. So I guess you're saying that the mental health issue preceded you requesting the trade in the off season. Okay, I guess, can you just shed a little light on the timeline and everything?
Yeah, for me, that was never, the mental health has nothing to do with just the trade. It was a bunch of things that I was dealing with as a person in my personal life that I don't really want to go into depth with. but yeah, I'm here now. So, it's a blessing to be, in an organization like this. And, I'm just looking forward to getting back on the floor and building something great here.
And it's just, it doesn't look good. Whatever the circumstances is around him, it doesn't look good. The fact that as soon as he gets to Brooklyn, he's in the shoot around. He's in the shoot around. He's back on the bench, literally immediately. Like there's been no a couple weeks. Immediately he's back there again. So it just looks a way that you did not want to play for the Sixers anymore under any circumstances whatsoever. You were done with that organization after Father's Day. Mm-hmm. And listen, there are a lot of things that happened, but the thing is that he's saying this goes all the way back and it's been going on for a while. Then the $1 million question is, as we always ask, why did you sign the extension?
Because he wanted his money.
Right, but he didn't have to get it here. You could have waited and got it somewhere else.
We had his bird rights, though.
Say again?
We had his bird rights.
Yeah. I mean,
Ben Simmons only cares about the almighty dollar. Make no mistake about it. Ben Simmons only cares about Ben Simmons and Ben Simmons' bank account. Okay? Make no mistake about it. I don't care who, what, when, where, or why, or what anybody else says. Ben Simmons only cares about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons only cares about being a celebrity. Ben Simmons only cares about Instagram. Ben Simmons only cares about Ben Simmons' bank account.
Yeah, if you're from Philly and we've had this guy for about 5 years now. If you're from Philly and you listen to this guy, nothing about what you're hearing should be surprising because this is how he's always sounded. But anyway, clip 3.
Hey Ben, I wanted to ask you a couple things. When you played your last game with the Sixers, what was going through your minds? What were your last emotions? And what was the straw that basically snapped that made you say it's time to go?
I don't think it was really that. It was more so just it was just piled up. A bunch of things that have gone over the years to where I just knew I wasn't myself and I needed to get back into that place of, being myself and being happy as a person and taking care of my well-being. And that was that was the major thing for me. It wasn't about the basketball. It wasn't about the money, anything like that. I want to be who I am and get back to, playing basketball at that level and, being myself.
And the last game?
Last game? What's
it's kind of what was going on through your mind after the last game.
I need to get in a good place mentally, honestly. That was the main thing.
So what put you in the bad place mentally? Was it your play? Was it the missed free throws? What was it that, because listen, the bottom line here is, and now you said the question before, you answered it by saying it wasn't about the mental health. Now you need to get mentally right. Just literally, I believe it's the next question. It's the contradictions are all over the place. And again, if you're his agent, you need to prepare him for a moment like this. Ben cannot be out here freestyling.
Well, Rich Paul's still got Adele banging on his front door right now. So
yeah, but he needs to handle his client because, he wasn't prepared. You could tell he was not prepared. He was literally answering his questions on the fly, and that's not something he should be doing when you haven't talked in over 6 months. You knew this was going to be a big deal.
I mean, that whole answer, he sounded so dumb when he was talking that I can't even really the only thing I really had to say about him is insulting about that answer. So I don't want to sit here and just say that he's a dumb person, but that was a dumb answer.
It didn't make any sense. It was all over the place. And, he's trying to do the thing that athletes do where they answer a question but avoid the real answer, but he's not good enough at media to do that. So, he sounds like a fool. Anyway, clip 4.
Hey, Ben, I know you're moving forward. You're all about today and what's happening in Brooklyn. But just again, with all that source reporting around what was going on with you, I guess just for Sixers fans, did you feel like you couldn't get back to the place where you wanted to be in Philadelphia? And was that part of the reason you asked for a trade? I guess, could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I think that was part of it. I think, I just wasn't in the place there to do that. And a lot of things had happened over that summer to where I didn't feel like I was getting that help. But it is what it is. I don't have wasn't a personal thing towards any player or coach or owners or anything like that. It was about myself, getting to a place where I need to be.
How can you get help if you're not telling people what's actually wrong with you?
Real quick, let me point out something. Notice he said something very interesting.
Okay.
Question that the guy asked was,
Great question.
yes, is this anything to do with the fans? If you notice in Ben's answer, he goes, this doesn't have anything to do with any of particular coaches, any particular players, or any particular owners. In Ben Simmons' answer, he does not once actually mention the fans, which was the entire premise of the question.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's again. Actually, play it one more time. I want to hear the beginning of his answer again.
Hey, Ben, I know you're moving forward. You're all about today and what's happening in Brooklyn. But just again, with all that source reporting around what was going on with you, I guess just for Sixers fans, did you feel like you couldn't get back to the place where you wanted to be in Philadelphia? And was that part of the reason you asked for a trade? I guess, could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I think that was part of it. I think, I just wasn't in the place there to do that. And a lot of things had happened over that summer to where I didn't feel like I was getting that help. But it is what it is. I don't have wasn't a personal thing towards, any player or coach or, owners or anything like that. It was about myself, getting to a place where, I need to be.
So again, this negates everything of you coming back in October, because you clearly stated that answer like we always thought. For the most part, you had no intention of playing for this team ever again. You had no intention of doing it. So you coming back in October, that whole facade was just a dog and pony show, try to get paid. And if you need a reference, go to that clip right there. You said it right there in your sentence. Like the whoever the reporter was set you up to telling yourself. You told on yourself there. Because basically he's asking you in layman's terms, did you have any plans to ever play for the Sixers again? And Ben said in layman's terms, basically, no, I didn't. I didn't feel right there, so to speak.
What do you think Maya Jama was sitting at home watching this thinking to herself?
She probably had her hand on her forehead like, no, Ben, no. Because she's a media person, so she probably knows. She probably knows. Like, she didn't even prep you last night. You guys weren't in the California King going over notes.
Nope.
Just get out some 3x5 cards. Like when I was like I said, I was really confused when I saw him up there, just sitting up there with nothing in front of him. Like, come out with a pre-written statement, explaining as much as you can without telling too much.
Wait, hold on. So you want Ben Simmons to have a pre-written statement, which means he has to do work to prep ahead of time for something?
That's what you get paid for. Write up something for him. Here, Ben, read this tomorrow at the press conference. Start with this.
Rich Ball can't handle.
Then take about 5 questions.
I think so. I'm beginning to wonder if at any point in time during this, did Ben Simmons just go rogue on Rich Paul?
Yeah, I don't know. But all right, next clip.
Clip 5?
Yes.
All right.
Been a couple quick ones. Just following up on the Philly stuff. Why do you think it got so bad there?
If I knew, I would tell you everything. But there's just a lot of things internally that, had happened over time. And it just got to a place where I don't think it was good for me mentally. So, it is what it is. It happened and moving forward. So
I know obviously he knows what happened, but he's trying to do that thing.
Let me ask you that.
Trying to answer the question without giving too much information, but you can't say if I knew I'd tell you everything, bro. You were there.
You've requested the trade.
You wanted a trade. Why did you want that trade? Like you could literally say, listen, I don't want to get into all that right now. It was a lot of things that happened. I'm trying to move on. I'm focused on helping this team. That's what you say. You don't say, if I knew, I'd tell you. What do you mean if you knew? You do know.
The team wasn't like, I don't want you here.
Right. You
You
said
don't
that.
want to be
They
here.
said plenty of times they want to try to bring you back in. You wanted no part of that because you hate Daryl Morey. Because when Daryl Morey was here for 5 minutes, he tried to trade you for James Harden. That's really where all of this really started. That's where everything went south. Is that first original trade? That was it right there. That's where things went south. Anyone can see he was not happy. See, listen, when Brett Brown was here, Ben Simmons was Brett Brown's guy. Brett Brown loved him some Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was the focus. Joel was on the outside. Now, also, keep in mind, there was a very different Joel Embiid that was on the outside. He was a little immature. I'm sure he was a little harder to deal with. Wasn't doing all the right things. And Brett Brown saw that. So Ben was the better of the two options. Joe's always hurt. Ben's mostly healthy. Ben has all his potential to be the next LeBron James at this point. Brett Brown bought into all of that. When Brett Brown got fired, all of that was scrapped off the table when Daryl Morey came in. Daryl Morey then got somehow, I don't know what happened between the bubble and the 3 months after that, but we get a completely different Joel Embiid. Something happened there. I think maybe the birth of his son. Maybe Daryl Morey spoke to him and got to him in a way that no one else had. I don't know the answer to that question. All of a sudden, things flip around. Ben's now on the outside looking in. He's almost traded immediately. He was very upset behind that, and that's when things flipped. Because in the bubble, we didn't hear anything about this. Before the bubble, before COVID, there was no talks of him being unhappy. That's the moment you point to. So don't sit here and say to me, I don't know. If I knew, I'd tell you. What? All right. I don't know. Next clip.
Like, each answer is getting dumber and dumber.
It's getting worse and worse. It really is.
I also find it funny how every reporter is like, "Hey Ben,
Yeah.
welcome to Brooklyn. Hey Ben,
Yeah.
you ready?"
Yep.
I'm wondering, like, as someone who's plays basketball for a living and loves the game, was it difficult to kind of stick with that? And what was the most challenging thing about that?
Not doing what I love. That was definitely the most difficult part, especially for that long. And when you take someone away from somebody that what they love doing, it's hard for anybody. So over time, I worked on that and trying to stay in a positive place and get to where I need to be. It was difficult, but I'm blessed to be in this situation and have this opportunity.
Not doing what you love or not doing what you get paid for. Those are two very different things. I would never characterize Ben Simmons as a guy who loves basketball.
No.
I think Ben Simmons loves the things that come with basketball. I don't think Ben Simmons loves the game of basketball. Ben Simmons is 6'10". What else was he supposed to do? His father played professional ball. He was been around the game his entire life. There was really no other alternatives. But I don't think Ben Simmons loved. If you gave Ben Simmons truth serum, I think he would obviously be honest and say he did not love basketball.
No, he loves the celebrity of being a basketball player.
And money.
He loves the fortune of being a basketball player. He loves the limelight. He loves being the center of attention. He loves the Instagram, the cars, and all that. He does not love the game of basketball because if he did, he would shoot 3-pointers and be a better foul shooter.
Correct. Next.
Ben, who was your supporting cast that helped you get through this time? And was it hard not to? It seemed like for a while, every day somebody was saying something, whether it was somebody, Sixers, media, did you pay attention to that? And did any of that bite you?
This is the first time I'm really speaking out, right? So last 6 months, I had everybody saying something, but not everybody knew. So I can't really say anything negative towards anybody that was saying something because they just didn't know. And I'm not the type of person to try to put somebody down for something I don't know about. That's just not me as a man. So, I have my family there supporting me from day one. Friends, I've made a ton of friends that work with the Sixers too. So it was never, a personal thing. It was just for my well-being to get where I need to be to.
And is there anything that was said that you heard that you'd like to clear up that you
Man, if we'll be here for a while if that's the case. There's been, everybody had a source, right? There's hundreds of sources.
So here's again the contradiction. You just said that you can't fault people for not knowing because no one knew for over 6 months, which takes us back to basically Father's Day. Again, disputing your point that the Sixers did not know about any of this until October.
Not good.
It's not good at all. You're not getting any of that money back, Ben.
That arbitration is going to be a very,
It's going to
very.
be play clip 5, play clip 3. That's what it's going to be.
Hey, listen, if they want, I'll send them the audio for this episode. We've already done the work for them.
Work for you. Just give it a little commission. You got it.
Well, I don't even think. How about this? Just give us like tickets to Sixers Suite for the season.
Yeah, I take that deal.
Yeah, I don't need money from them. Just give me some. Let me get some tickets. Let me get in the building.
Get the Cadillac Club for an entire year.
Yeah.
Hang out with Beanie Siegel, and we're good.
Yeah. Do they still have a Campos in there?
Campos?
Yeah, Campo Steaks.
I didn't see it.
In the Cadillac Club. I don't know if it still is. That's
I'm not. I didn't see it. Well, I had a chicken cheesesteak down there, but it was no names on the stuff. It was just people just serving food and stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, he really is shooting his case right in the foot.
I mean, I didn't notice. Was Rich Paul at the presser yesterday? I didn't
see him. He wasn't on the stage.
Okay.
I mean, I would think he was there, but I didn't see him. There was no photos or anything of him or camera shots of him.
Clutch, if Clutch didn't prep him like they should have, this is malpractice.
They definitely didn't prep him. You can tell he wasn't prepped for this.
Well, no. There was a difference between them wanting to and him doing it.
Oh, right. He went out there with a water bottle and a smile.
Yeah, no, like they very well could have wanted to prep him. It's on Ben Simmons to show up for said prep.
I think in his head he thinks that
he didn't do anything wrong.
I'm not. Well, yeah, that too, and because I'm not in Philly, that it won't be as hard. I'm not going to get these questions. I mean, like I said, I think like they were nice about it. They said, "Hey, Ben," but they still asked him the questions that everyone wanted to know. Like there was not many questions that left on the table. Like I said, the only one I would have asked is, you're saying you were dealing with this for a very long time. Why did Sixers not know about this October? Because at that point, you're gonna have to tell me the Sixers are lying. At that point, I need to know the answer to that question.
I said this on Monday. No one ever left Philadelphia and said they're too harsh there. Let me go to New York.
Right. And did you come when you flew back into Philadelphia in October? Did you have intentions of playing? Those are questions I would have asked them. But for the most part, everyone did the right thing. All right. Next clip.
Are we on 8 or 9?
I believe we're on 8.
Well, I'll play 8, and if it's not the right one, we'll just go to 9.
Yeah, makes sense.
I apologize if I'm getting ahead of ourselves too much, but you guys do have a game in Philly in a couple of weeks. Do you think you can be ready for that? Physically, mentally, I imagine it's I
hope so.
So, I mean, what else is he supposed to say?
Yeah.
No, I mean he can't say no. I'm not gonna be ready then, because then everyone's gonna say and everyone's gonna think. Do I believe he's playing? No, I don't. I don't believe he's gonna play in that game at all. I think he should play in that game because it's a good chance you'll see them in the playoffs, and I wouldn't want that to be my first game back in Philly. But I don't think he's playing. I don't think he's going to play till after. It's going to be very strategic that he plays after March 10th. But it's still not going to listen. The great thing is, it's still not going to stop Philly from Phillying March 10th.
No,
out there, because also too. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing too. I just thought of this. He's already sat on the bench, so he's supposed to be on the bench now. Are they going to purposely not have him on the bench for that game?
For what I was just going to say, even if he doesn't play, he's going to just not travel with the team?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. It might be better for him. It is better for him just to play and sit on the bench. I mean, I would rather just be in the game, so at least I'm distracted by something, than to sit there and have, because KD last year got KD Sucks champs. He wasn't even playing. He was hurt.
He was hurt.
He literally was like, "Wait, what's happening? I'm just sitting here, mind my business." So, it's gonna be bad for him. Whenever he decides to play, it's gonna be bad for him. He might as well just get it over with now, even though I don't think he will. All right, clip 9.
Hey, Ben, I have two for you. I'm just curious. One, what was the communication like with Philadelphia on the way out? And as you look back, is there anything in order to kind of move forward that you would have done differently?
Yeah, I think the communication, I spoke to Elton, I spoke to Josh Harris, they called me, I spoke to Doc Rivers, and I spoke to Tobias. There was a couple other players I spoke to about it. And, they were happy, for me to just be in a different situation and, for me to get back on the floor eventually. So overall, I think, they supported me well enough through this.
Did you speak with Joel?
No, I did not.
Finally, some truth and some realness. That answer that no, I did not was the realest answer he gave throughout the entire press conference, in my opinion. You can tell those two hate each other.
Yes.
And, I don't know that they did before all of this. I think it was just they never were close. But I think after this Father's Day stuff and going all the stuff that's happened the past 6 months, is no question they hate each other. When Joe says, I don't care about that man, he wasn't capping. Ben said, no, I did not. No cap. Ben actually, it's funny because you saw, like, you can see, like, you can read faces. Like, when we watched the press conference live and he said that, when he turned back, you can see the disdain in his face over even having to talk about Joel Embiid in any stretch. And I honestly believe it's just a lot of, when it comes to Ben, I honestly believe it's a lot of jealousy. He was the man before Daryl Morey got here. And Daryl Morey and Joel, they play tennis together. They're very, very close. Daryl was bringing Joe in on decisions and like, all the trade. Joe was a part of all this stuff. And, Ben, I don't know if he was involved like that, but he had a great relationship with the organization before Daryl Morey got here. And I think for a guy like Ben needs to be felt at and looked at as the man. And if he's not, he doesn't like it. Joe alluded to that when Joe gave his final comments on Ben a couple of days ago. What did he say? He said, I wish winning was the most important thing, but it's not. It's him having his own team. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. And, he's obviously this is KD's team over in Brooklyn, but it was some weird thing with him and Joe. Maybe because they came in at similar years. I don't know. But it was something there where it was like a fight over whose team it was going to be. But when Ben was a guy, and like Joe said this also, Joe, you go back to Joe's comments months ago. Joe did so many things to try to cater to Ben and the way Ben plays basketball. You could go through the countless times that he tried to cater to Ben's game. The team wasn't built around Joe for the past couple of years. It was built around Ben and Ben's needs. They never said, what does Joe need? This may be the first time bringing in Harden that you can actually say they're actually catering to Joe's needs and what Joe wanted. Joe was never a great passer out of the double team before this year. Joe wasn't a guy that, you want to have shooters around him just for the fact that he's getting double teamed, but that was for Ben because Ben likes to run. Ben wants shooters on the wings. Ben needs that. And everything that you saw up to this point was Ben, 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 Ben. And the minute it didn't become Ben, 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 it became Joe, all of a sudden we get all these issues from Ben. And it's childish. It's a lack of character. And, really, Daryl Morey was the first one to come in here, see these two guys and say, nah, it's him. It's not him. And he's right. He was right. He was right. Joel Embiid proves him right every day by his attitude, by the way he's handling his teammates, his leadership, how much better of a player he's become. He has proven Daryl Morey right.
And they could have both been the man if Ben would have just progressed his offensive game.
Right.
Like we often say, what's the biggest reason Carson's not in Philadelphia anymore? Because of Carson's play.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest reason why Ben Simmons is not in Philadelphia anymore? Ben Simmons' play.
Right.
They're very, very similar situations.
Yeah, they're eerily similar. Eerily similar. We really are. And those two guys not taking accountability for their poor play.
Mm-hmm.
And not understanding why people are unhappy with their poor play.
Ready for 10?
Ready.
Yeah, for me, it felt like it should feel always. My teammates embraced me as soon as I got here. And then besides that, the fans were very welcoming, which was great. And, the energy just in the locker room and just around the building was terrific.
Don't let this pass as an innocuous comment. Those were shots. Those were shots fired. First of all, besides Joel Embiid, and I don't want to take him out of it because he has been supportive also before he just got frustrated. They've all been supporting you. They came out, and even over the summer, Joel, when all these stories would come out over the summer about how Joel and Ben hate each other, Joel went to Twitter and disputed all of that and said it was a bunch of lies and tried to be on Ben's page. Also, going into the season, you heard from Tobias Harris, you heard from Seth Curry, you heard from all of these guys how they were rallying around him. Danny Green defended him. Matisse Thybulle defended him.
Even Dwight Howard didn't. He wasn't even here anymore.
Tobias Harris went on Twitter calling Ben his brother and saying, we're going to be here for our brother when he returns. So that was shots towards his former teammates. Then the fans embracing you. That was shots towards the Philadelphia fans, which, again, you've always been supported here. You've always been supported here. You weren't when they were missing free throws left and right, not shooting in the fourth quarter at Hawks. He wasn't getting booed. He didn't get booed one time. Even when he passed up the open dunk, it wasn't boos. It was confusion. You heard a gasp. People were what? What? Things didn't get bad for you with the fan base until after the season when you started all of that foolishness and tried to blame the fans, Joel Embiid, and everybody else and their mama for your poor play. That's when things started to turn for you. During the season, all of these season, these fans have supported you, stood by you, rooted for you to get better. We all were witnesses to those videos during the summer of Ben playing in the local Y, whatever, taking threes, doing this, salivating every single year. We do that every year, telling ourselves this is going to be the year he puts it all together. And even when he doesn't, we're still right there. He's disappointed us for 4 straight playoffs in a row. No boos that ever came his way. None of them did. All the energy of the hate that he's going to receive March 10th if he plays or whenever he decides to stay is directly because of him and his actions over the summer.
Fact. $11.
Ben, specifically, you had a specific ball handling, playmaking role in Philly. What do you think your specific role, your best role, will be in Brooklyn?
I think I try to compare it to my early seasons with J.J. Redick, Ersan Ilyasova, and Marco Bellinelli when I think we were playing the Nets in the first round, Miami in the first round, and just the way we were flowing and playing. That's how I know how to play basketball. I'm a team player. I like to see everybody scoring, contributing in whatever way they can, and that's the way you got to play to win. So, if you want to be a winner, you got to play with all the guys on the floor and use everybody's abilities, and maximize the abilities that everybody has.
I thought this was very interesting. Interesting that he goes back to his rookie year to compare how he likes to play basketball. I don't know that you're going to find a great player 5-6 years in the league that goes back to his rookie year and speaks of it with such fondness the way he spoke of that. With Ilyasova, Bellinelli was here for 3 months. Ilyasova, he was here twice. They picked him up after that year they went to the playoffs. They picked him up, I think, in a buyout market.
Yeah, he was a buyout market.
But he was also here the year before when Embiid got hurt, when it looked like they were going to make a playoff push, and he left, and he came back to the buyout market. So he was here for a cup of coffee too. Redick was here for a couple of years. I thought that was really telling that's what makes him feel good, was going back to thinking about his rookie year. Because you know what? His rookie year was probably his best complete year in the NBA.
Probably.
And, that's scary. That's scary to think about it. I just thought that was an interesting comment that he made, that he went back and mentioned those guys. And the idea that he didn't mention Joel Embiid one time at all. And also, too, I think that was a response when he talked about winning basketball. I think that was a response to Joel Embiid's comments from the couple days before, whatever, about him not being focused on winning. I think he tried to rebuttal that there, but interesting stuff out of him there, going back to his rookie year to discuss how he likes to play basketball.
I meant to ask you this the other day, so I'll ask you right now before we get to the next clip.
Mhm.
If you're Andre Drummond or Seth Curry that have been on the Sixers with him, how do you feel hearing these comments?
I mean, even if they feel a type of way, like, what are you like? So Andre Drummond, probably he was disappointed because I think he liked playing here, but he didn't have the history with Ben the way Seth might, because Seth was here all of last year, and Seth balled out in Atlanta series. Seth also like Seth has his whole family here. His father-in-law is the coach. You know, his wife was upset because now she has to go leave dad, even though it's a couple hours. I'm sure she was upset, and like I'm sure there's some feelings there. They're not going to say it in the public. They're not going to say it at all. But yeah, you're listening to that stuff, especially if you're Seth Curry. You're like, wait, what? That's not true. Yeah,
you got to have some kind of feeling towards it. So.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? You're a human being. Like you have. I mean, like I said, I don't know Andre Drummond cares that much about the Ben Simmons stuff because like he doesn't notice like to play with him because he never did, and he wasn't. He was around for a little bit of foolishness when Ben was doing those mock workouts in October.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Yeah, whatever you want to call that. But he wasn't really around for it. So I think really the person is Seth Curry because like Seth Curry was collateral damage in the situation. He should still be a Sixer. And it should have been Harden in the offseason, not Harden now. But it all escalated because of Ben. Ben refusing to play.
Yeah. Damn. 12? Let's get it. Oh, come on. There we go.
Hey, Ben, welcome to Brooklyn. There are going to be some people out there that are skeptical, that are going to say that James Harden was faking his hamstring injury and that you were maybe faking your mental health issues. What do you have to say to those people that saw you smiling yesterday during the shoot around and then on the bench as well? What do you say to those people that have skepticism about that, and where are you in that process?
They should be happy I'm smiling, honestly. I've had some dark times over these last 6 months, and I'm just happy to be in this situation with this team and organization. So people are going to say what they want. They've said it the last 6 months, and I haven't commented. And it is what it is. So people are always going to have their own opinions.
Given comments like that, do you think there needs to be a change in how we address or how we think about athletes and their mental health?
For sure. I don't think people really understand I don't even look at it as pressure. There's just so many things going on within, basketball and life as people. But it is what it is also. I understand the business side. I understand all that. But that's something that, people should be acknowledged and addressed if they do feel like they need some help in areas. And it's okay to do that.
So, again, he's all over the place. But I want to say this. I hate the narrative that's being put out there that if you question Ben Simmons' mental health, you're not an advocate for mental health. Everyone has a right to question the legitimacy of Ben Simmons' mental health issues. You have a right to because he has done things that don't align with those type of circumstances. And if he was going through things, then obviously we wish him well and hope for the best from him. But if you're questioning whether or not this was real or not, you have every right to, based on the facts of the case. And once again, you listen to the end of that clip, the contradictions happen again. It doesn't align. He contradicted himself from the beginning of the clip to the end of the clip. Because once again, the $1 million question is, if you had these issues, why did you not tell the Sixers until you reported here unannounced at the training facility?
Yeah. He's just mad that he had to be held accountable for the first time in his life.
Is there a way, can you play the end of that clip for me? The end of that clip, because I'm blanking now, but he said something in there that I want to address, and I don't remember.
It is what it is. So people are always gonna have their own opinions.
Given comments like that, do you think there needs to be a change in how we address or how we think about athletes and their mental health?
For sure. I don't think people really understand I don't even look at it as pressure. There's just so many things going on within, basketball and life as people. But it is what it is also. I understand the business side. I understand all that. But that's something that, people should be acknowledged and addressed if they do feel like they need some help in areas. And it's okay to do
that. First of all, it's hard because it's touchy to talk about mental health because it's such a hot button issue in today's society. And, it's important that we talk about it. Yeah, he's right. There are the pressures, but man, the way he's going about this, it just doesn't look good.
He's talking out of both sides of his mouth.
Right. And also too, I thought it was funny how he said, I understand the business side of things, because Embiid, how many times you heard Embiid say, this is a business, this is a business, this is a business, this is a business. So I thought it was interesting that he said that you've heard him take some subliminals towards Joel Embiid and the things that Joel's been saying for the past 6 months.
Yep. I got one more.
One more? Okay.
One more. You ready for it?
We'll do this and then we'll take a break.
Sounds good.
Ben, what kind of work have you done to improve the free throw shooting percentage?
Non-stop working. Just been in the gym, honestly. Been in the gym working every day, just being consistent and getting that confidence. Definitely.
So was it the gym at Cherry Hill High School?
Right.
Was it the gym at St. Joe's University? Was it the gym at LA Fitness at 3 p.m. where everybody could have went to the league if they didn't get hurt?
Right. I mean, I hope he's right, because if he has not been working like he says he has on those free throws, man, will you come to roost those comments in June or May or April, wherever it is. Those comments will come back to bite you, talking about you working on your free throws. You better be working on your free throws. You better have. I mean, if you look at him, you saw him shooting. We haven't really seen a lot of him shooting the basketball since last year. The shot looks exactly the same. Yeah, they show him shooting from corner three. It looks exactly the same. Doesn't bend his knees. Elbows in a weird place. Ball placement's odd. It's not good. So
he ain't gonna be different.
And also too, listen, he may just be a guy. Not only is a bad free throw shooter, the pressure with the free throws get to him also. He may be that guy too. So I don't know. We'll see. But listen, as you saw, it was a lot to unpack from that press conference. It was 15 minutes. We had minutes turning in about 45 minutes. But it was a lot. It was really a lot to unpack there. He said a lot of stuff. A lot of it didn't make sense. Contradictions all over the place. Wish him well.
He ain't seeing that money.
No. That whole press conference is exhibit A of why he will not see that money. But we're going to take a break, and on the other side, we'll keep talking to you.
Sounds good.
Good morning. Marques, Brown, Justin Emery. We're right back.
Looking for authentic Mexican food close to home? Great news. District Taco is just around the corner in Abington, Pennsylvania, and they'd love to fiesta with you. Offering delicious fish tacos, a California burrito stuffed with guac, steak, fries, and chipotle mayo, plus sweet, crispy churros. District Taco has it all. Try out the newest location and come back for more. Get 10% off your first in-app order with promo code BREMI10. Always fresh, always Mexican. District Taco.
Relationships can be tough, and finding that special someone can be even tougher. So when it's time to make a decision on what to do with the ring, you don't want to have that be tough too, right? Hi, I'm Marques Brown. I want to talk to you guys, my friends at Vans Jewelers, located at 13 South York Road in the heart of Hatboro. Back in 2017, when I decided to get engaged, there was only one choice for me. Going into Vans Jewelers, I was quite nervous, but they put me at ease right away with their friendly staff and their easy selection. They have selections for any budget. Rings, watches, chains, earrings, you name it, they got it. They also offer free ultrasonic cleaning and stone checks on any ring. Vans Jewelers also provides cleanings while you wait every Tuesday through Friday. What else do you want? You can't beat it. Go see my friends at Vans Jewelers, located again at the heart of Hatboro, 13 South York Road.
Justin here. Let me tell you about my friends over at Beef Jerky Outlet. A family-owned business, Sharon and Michael have the best jerky around. They have a huge selection to choose from, but always make sure to try my personal favorite, the Honey Barbecue Turkey Jerky. Don't think they only have jerky for sale. They also have the best supply of sauces, marinades, and rubs for all of your new recipes. Located at 110 Lincoln Highway, right by Oxford Valley Mall. Head on over there, go in and say, yo, Justin sent me.
Every Friday, we're bringing you bits. But it's especially hilarious to me knowing what I've seen happen in McDonald's locations over the years. Hell, what I've done in McDonald's locations over the years. Hits.
Always winterize your pipes. I think that is such a funny...
And everything in between.
Nah,
See, it's the opposite. You don't see it, and he was totally about eating that baby. We are Twitty and the Brand. We're going to ruin something that you love. New episodes weekly on all your favorite podcast streamers.
Yeah, man. Welcome back. Brad in the morning. Marques Brown, Justin Emery.
Yo. 2 facts for you today. Got a few birthdays, though, but 2 facts. First, February 16th, 1923. Almost the 100-year mark. Not quite yet, but next year it will be. The tomb of King Tut is opened. Lot of gold, Marcus.
Yes.
Lot of gold.
From Howard Carter, I don't tell anybody. I pack it up and roll out.
Mm-hmm.
Out.
Second one, 1968. 911 is implemented as a way to call the police.
Oh.
It's a relatively new invention when you think about it.
Yeah.
1968. And then we got a couple of birthdays. 2 shout-out birthdays today. First is Ice-T.
Love his iced tea.
Second is The Weeknd.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So there's not a lot of birthdays today, but since we're not doing a show tomorrow, we are going to give a early happy birthday to these people for tomorrow, because tomorrow are some heavy hitters.
Okay.
Ed Sheeran, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Paris Hilton.
Oh, okay.
Happy birthday, Michael Jordan.
Ooh, Michael Jeffrey.
Happy birthday to Jim Brown.
Huge day.
Yes. Happy birthday to Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day.
Okay.
Happy birthday to Denise Richards. Happy birthday to Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Ooh, I'm excited about his new show coming out on Showtime.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's going to play the guy who invented Uber.
Oh, okay. I forget what his name is, but yeah, I'm definitely into that.
It's apparently a wild story.
Oh, the Uber guys are wild people. Do you know the backstory of that?
Not really, no. So I'm excited. I mean, it looks. I mean, I'm a huge Joseph Gordon-Levitt guy, so I love the pick for him. And then I think the trailer looked amazing, so I'm excited for that. I think it starts the end of February. And also, guys, don't forget tonight, part 1 of the Kanye West documentary debuts tonight on Netflix. Genius, which I'm pretty excited about. That's gonna be good stuff.
And one more birthday for tomorrow, Larry the Cable Guy.
All right, this is an extensive list there.
Extensive list. Now, real quick before we dive into the next segment, I just want to let you know about the Uber guys, because I know a little. I don't know the full story. Nobody obviously knows the full story, but like some tidbits. They Mark Cuban actually said that Uber is his biggest regret, because he was approached to be an investor in Uber like 3 years before Uber even launched. And he said there's no way that they would be able to revolutionize the taxi industry. He was like, it's just too big of an industry. It won't happen. And now he said that the founders, some of the early founders, are as wealthy, if not wealthier, than he is. So he often says that not investing in Uber is one of, if not his single biggest business regret, because he knew about it years beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, it's
so. I'm just I wonder if that's going to be part of the story, because that's like the way early part of it. So that would be even before he became rich. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to include that, but
yeah, I think they're. I don't know if they're going to include that part of it, but I know they're coming from the come up all the way through.
It's going to be something similar to like Social Network. Just
a little edgier Social Network. I think a little. He seems to be more of an edgier guy than
Oh yeah, no. Well, the whole reason why he really wanted to start Uber was so that him and his buddies could just be ballers. They're all single guys, and they lived in Silicon Valley.
Mhm.
They just wanted to be like rich young ballers in Silicon Valley, throw parties, women, all that.
Yeah,
that's the whole reason why they started it, and it took off way more than they thought it would be, and it became a real company.
Yeah,
they thought it was going to be, for lack of a better term, a part-time gig.
Yeah.
And it turned like, no, like this is a corporation.
Well, by the way, by the looks of the trailer, you can tell he was a wild man.
What platform?
Showtime.
Showtime. Okay, cool.
Showtime. So Mary J. Blige came out the other day. They were asking her about the Super Bowl and payment, and she revealed that people don't get paid to do the Super Bowl, and most of them actually don't. Some maybe, but most of them don't.
No.
Which at first I was kind of like, that's wild. You would think, there would be compensation. But then I came across this stat, and this is probably why they don't get paid for the Super Bowl. So, since the halftime show, Dr. Dre's streams increased by 185% in the hour following the game. Mary J. Blige's No More Drama alone was a 520% increase. The next episode was a 270% increase. Still DRE, 245% increase. Kendrick's All Right, 250%. Now, obviously, Eminem's not on here because Eminem already does wild numbers with his streams and everything anyway. So you don't need to. I mean, I think Eminem, stat just came out that he's the only artist to have 5 albums with over 1.5 billion streams, which is silly. But this is why you don't get paid for the Super Bowl, because the exposure you get for doing it is just insane. So I thought that was interesting. It was just because you look at all of those songs I mentioned, they're great songs, but they're also songs that are probably not in everyone's regular rotation. But you hear them at a venue like that, you're like, oh yeah, let me put that back on my playlist. So that boost is wild.
I'll go even a little bit further. Not only do the majority of them not get paid, the majority of them have to expense out their own set designs and whatnot. Like Dr. Dre
spent a couple
$7 million for that design. Yeah. So, not only is it not, you don't get paid, you actually pay to be there. But I think it came out 111 million people watched the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, of course,
worth the investment.
Yeah.
You got to spend money to make money. And I will say this, while I wasn't 100% in love with the actual show, that could be the greatest set of all time. With the grid and the cars and the way it was constructed, Dr. Dre come out with the piano, but that set was sick.
Anything is better than whatever The Weeknd did last year.
Yeah, man. Well, I think we talked about this. I don't think either one of us had faith, because The Weeknd is extremely sad for the most part. His catalog is sad.
I needed to be on multiple substances for that show.
Yeah, when he's walking through that mirror thing he was doing, that was wild.
I don't even have words.
He's not a halftime show artist.
No,
he's not. And I think it's funny because ever since that show, I feel like he's made it a mission to make more upbeat music. He is the one out with Post Malone, which I love right now. That his album is extremely upbeat for him.
And since we're talking about things with the Super Bowl, we didn't get to this on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
How weird was that thing with The Rock in the beginning?
Yeah, we didn't get to that on Monday, but that was really weird.
And what kind of pants
the players are on the field, and he's in the corner on a hash mark, just doing his Rock stuff. Listen, he's a Rock, so it worked, but it was a little weird.
And what was up with his pants?
Yeah, those were very tight. I think I saw change in his pockets. They're very, very, very tight pants. Like he's in excellent shape.
Oh man, his arms look like he could just like pick me up and just pop my head off just by flexing.
Bro, you know it's real when you can see a guy's six pack through his shirt.
Yes.
Like that's a different type of ripped.
This man's in his 50s.
Right. Right. So yeah, his shape is extraordinary. But those pants were a lot.
I meant to ask you that on Monday, but it looked
like the players were into it. I mean, they were excited. I mean, but I guess listen, we're about to take off Super Bowl. Maybe it was a combination of that, but they looked like they were into it.
Think about it like this: he's in his what, early to mid 50s,
something like that, maybe late 40s, but somewhere around there.
No, I know he's at least 50. I remember they were making a big deal about his 50th birthday.
Okay,
so I know he's at least 50. Andrew Whitworth is the oldest player for either team.
Right.
He's 40.
Yeah.
So you got to make the assumption that a lot of the players probably grew up watching him as The Rock.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah.
So Matt Stafford was what?
Whitworth is 40. He was around my age during the Attitude Era when The Rock was The Rock. So, yeah, he probably was flipping out.
So, that's probably why the players were so into it. But on TV,
it was weird on TV. But I'll say this. I'll go back to the 2 weeks before the Michael Buffer thing. That was weird. They tried to get Michael Buffer in. They didn't try to. They did. Michael Buffer did like the intro for the NFC Championship game, and he stood over by the end zone. He tried to do the whole "Let's get ready to rumble," but it was weird. It didn't work. So you know what? We're going Rock. That'll make it work.
I did, but I didn't find that as weird as the Rock thing.
I thought it was a little weirder.
I know. The Rock thing just was like.
Well, I think because he was on the field, and you see the guys in the background get ready to kick off, they're waiting for him to be done to kick off.
Yeah,
it's that's why I think it came across weird. I'm sure it was really cool live, but on TV it came across a little weird.
I also only caught the end of the "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" thing, so that didn't bother me as much as
he was out there for an uncomfortable long time. He was out there for a good 55 seconds longer than he needed to be.
That's fair.
He was out there way too long. But
The Rock was just that was.
I'm glad you brought that back up. I did make a note that we've got to talk about that, and I forgot again of all the Ben Simmons foolishness. Which, by the way, Brooklyn, don't get used to him. He'll be in LA in 3 years. You're welcome.
Yeah.
He's waiting out that contract. He's gonna be in LA in 3 years.
Clippers or Lakers?
Oh, he wants to be a Laker.
No, I know what he wants to be, but I'm saying
he'll be a Clipper. I mean, I'm sorry, he'll be a Laker.
You think so?
But yeah, so my daughter
Jeannie Buss will screw that one up then.
Probably. My daughter had a sleepover this weekend, right? And Saturday, I made the kids lunch. Okay. Now Amber made breakfast. She did pancakes with bacon and eggs and sausage and the whole 9 yards. So it was leftover bacon. So I made them just mac and cheese for lunch. So you know what? I'm gonna throw some bacon in here. Yeah. Mix it up, whatever. My kids love. It's like a special. When the bacon goes in mac and cheese, it hits different.
Right. Yeah.
So they were excited. So the girl goes, "What's that?" I was like, "It's bacon." She goes, "Oh, that's what it looks like." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "I've never had bacon before." I almost threw her out of my house. How in the world? This girl's 11 years old and has never had bacon before.
Okay.
What kind of parenting is this? I blame the parents. I don't blame her. I blame the parents. You're not giving
when they're that young, you can't blame the kid.
No.
Until you're like 15,
yeah.
16, you can't be faulted for what you eat.
And then
you're still eating whatever's at the house. You know what I mean?
I get a little excited. I'm like, wow, I get to experience someone trying bacon for the first time. I get to experience that moment. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Just to buy
get into like that 14, 15 range.
Yeah.
Then it's on you.
Like Amber makes incredible bacon. Like me, I'm hit or miss. Like I can't get the timing right. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I think I'm kind of.
How do you cook your bacon?
Oven.
My man.
Oven. Because it's too much effort to do it over the stove.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the secret move. What do you cook it at?
I just increased. I used to go 410. Now I go 425.
There you go. The key is you got to heat it hotter. You got to cook it hotter. I go 425, 8 minutes on the first side, flip it 6 minutes on the second.
You're a flipper.
I'm a
Okay.
flipper.
All right.
Because by the time you go in to flip it, will have shrunk a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you flip them, and then you can properly line them up.
Yeah.
6 minutes on the backside. Good to go.
Do you put anything on your bacon?
Every once in a while, maybe I'll throw like just a little bit of salt and pepper on it or something.
I like black pepper on it.
Yeah, I'll do that every once in a while. But to be honest with you, I eat it so fast I usually don't have time to comprehend. Like,
well, Amber's I told her she can't go. She did this. So I told her about the meatloaf a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes, how'd that?
I did it again. So I did it again yesterday because some things I wanted to change.
Of course,
to be better. And like when I get in my head like that, I gotta make it immediately. So I did it again. The first time it was good, but I only used 1 pack of the meatloaf mix, so it was too much flavor with the Lipton onion. And it was more overpowering. And then I also had, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but it was too much cheese. Like I put no,
that can happen.
Yeah, I was like, this is.
I made that mistake when I was making broccoli and cheddar soup one time.
Yeah,
I put way too much cheese in.
Yeah, which is a wild thing to have happen, but it happened. So this time, I doubled the meatloaf, the meat, and so the flavor with the Lipton was perfect. Then I did everything else. I did the same. The bacon bits, shredded cheese in the middle, put the other pot on top, put the bacon on top to cook on top, and then I took it out after like 50 minutes and sprinkled the cheese on top of it. Perfection. Worked out perfectly.
I mean, I'm not much of a meatloaf guy, but it sounds great.
Listen, even Amber, who hates meatloaf, was like, "This is actually really good." I'm like,
all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Gotta tell you what your boy did on Monday.
Okay.
From scratch. And I mean from scratch. Like I got the cream, I got the butter.
Okay.
Chicken and broccoli Alfredo.
Ooh. So you made the sauce?
Made the sauce.
Look at you. Sauce
on the stovetop, whipping it up.
Love it. Love it.
Push would have been happy. I was over the stove.
I did that. Yeah, I did that. I actually made my own gravy for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Ooh.
I did a pierogi skillet. I took pierogies.
Oh, love me some pierogies.
Made the pierogies by themselves. Then I did ground beef with fresh spinach.
Okay.
Put that in the pan. Cooked that together. Then mixed the gravy separately. Took pierogies out. Put it in the skillet. Then dumped the gravy over top of it. Mixed it up. Man,
how do you cook your pierogies?
Oven. I do oven.
You do oven. Okay.
I do oven. I do spray. I like to spray butter better because it's easier instead of just taking it and I spray it on there, both sides, and just let it go. Let it do its thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Never done it that way.
Yeah, it turns out like if you put it in there a little bit longer, it'll give you the crisp like it does. It's one of the rare things that'll crisp like it does on the stove, and you don't need the stove for it.
Because
for me, I'll tell you, I'm an oven guy 9 times out of 10 because then I can do other things. I like to multitask. So like if I put it in the oven, I'm gonna have time to do. If I have to prep something else, or I'm making something else, I have time to attend to that thing, or I'm doing laundry, or I'm watching TV. I can do whatever else I want to do. I'm not at the mercy of the meal. Like when it's on the stove, you gotta be at the mercy of the meal.
So what I actually usually do with pierogies is I'll boil them about 80% of the way.
Okay.
Then I throw them in the skillet to get the crunch on the outside.
All right. Yeah, you can do that. That's not a bad thing.
So hit it with some fried onions in there with some butter.
Yeah.
Let that all come together.
I did sausage and peppers the other day. I made the onions separately, put some oil all over them, tossed them around, got the ranch packet seasoning out, ranched them up, the onion and peppers. Man,
I forgot to mention this.
Mm-hmm.
In her jalapeno popper recipe is also a packet of ranch.
I mean, they look good.
Oh, they were
I'm
good.
preferring with jalapeno boats, but they look good. Or stuffed jalapeno.
See, all it is that it's not breaded. That's the whole thing that you're like, if I breaded it, that would just be a breaded jalapeno popper. This is just it without the breading. They're the same thing.
I
It's
don't
like
think
chicken.
so.
It's like breaded
I
chicken
think Cheese
wing.
Simmons' upgrade is better. I like that.
What's
I
that?
don't like them in the restaurant or the bar or whatever. Usually in a bar.
Oh,
I don't like them.
they are.
They look really really good. I mean,
I will definitely attempt to get you some. I just can't promise with how the speed of which I eat them.
well, yo, so like that's what I'm gonna say. Like Amber's now spoiled with the bacon because like she now she got one. She did this one time a couple weeks ago with the meatloaf. She got the deli bacon. I can't go. I can't go back.
Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
I looked at her. I'm like, listen, we need to have a conversation right now. You can never bring packaged bacon in this home ever again.
It's good, isn't it?
It needs to look like this all the time. It needs to be this all the time. It's unbelievable.
It's good, isn't it? What do you know? What kind it was?
No, I have no idea. It was just it was just she got it. I think she's got it right from the deli. Like
No, I'm saying like what I mean, but when you get it from the deli, they already come. You can get them pre-flavored. So I didn't know. Like, did she just get?
Oh no! It was just regular traditional bacon.
Okay.
And it but I was like, I looked at it. I was like, this is not your father's bacon. This is a different type of bacon.
I first discovered that that type of bacon living in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I was just wandering through and I was like, oh, yeah, let me get like a couple slices of that. I went home, threw it in. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'll definitely this summer be wrapping it in a bratwurst. That's good. That's gonna happen. I love it. Do you like bratwurst?
Who doesn't?
I love me some bratwurst.
Damn.
Bratwurst,
Yeah,
bratwurst is awesome.
Now, what you got to do is you got to get some of that bacon for your burgers for the bacon cheeseburger.
Facts. That's gonna happen. I actually got some leftover now, so I might make that happen.
Whenever we have our bacon or our burger duel.
Huh.
First off, it's going to be friendly, but you're going to lose. Number one. Secondly,
don't underestimate me.
Oh, I'm not. It's just that like you're acting like it's not going to come through. Like I'm not coming through like a wave of hurricane. Like I'm like
I know you're a foe in the kitchen, but like I've been doing some things. I'm gonna actually just for this competition, I'm gonna try something new.
Ooh, so do you remember what was that that Disney movie about the cooking guy? Now it was big when I was a kid. You may have been too old to be watched like Eddie something.
Hold
on, let me pull it up. Eddie cooking.
While you're pulling it up, have you seen the Sean Payton football movie yet?
No, and I'm good on it.
Well, I mean, I guess yeah. I mean, well, I watched it because I have kids, and pretty good. It was entertaining. It was this nice cute story.
It's called Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
No, never seen it.
Yeah, it was a early 2000s Disney show movie, Disney Channel movie. The whole premise of it is that he's a high school kid. He's a baseball prodigy.
Okay,
he's basically Bryce Harper.
All right,
Bryce Harper, but he hates playing baseball. He wants to be a chef, and he's also like a wizard in the kitchen. And his dad is trying to be like, no, you got to be a baseball player. He wins a chance to compete in this like $1 million cook-off contest, and he wins it. So then like his dad is like, all right, let's make you become a chef. Basically, it's the whole premise of the movie.
Yo, have you ever noticed that?
I feel like that is going to be what it is when it goes to you and I. And the big point in the movie though is that his cooking instructor that's prepping him for it always goes, listen. In the middle of a big contest, never try something new.
I'm doing something new. Well, have you ever noticed that like athletes are always really good at something random?
Yes.
I actually had an idea for a TV show with athletes, and it's like America's Got Talent for athletes, but them showing off that other talent. Because all athletes have some like random talent that we have no idea about. It's always interesting when you find out like stuff like that about athletes.
Do you remember Eagles fullback? I believe he was with Seattle, Leonard Weaver.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He has like an opera level voice.
It's wild.
Like he's released like soul albums.
Like opera style? Or like he sings
quality of voice. Like he could go, like he's released like soul albums before.
Wow. So it's like Victor Oladipo is an incredible singer.
Justin Tucker is an opera singer, the kicker from the Ravens.
That's wild.
He like there was I would hear a lot of commercials living down there, but he has commercials for M&T Bank of him like singing opera for the commercial, and he's been like that. He's like, that's not dub, like that's
just me.
That's me.
You got Jordan Mailata, obviously here. Yeah, it's always crazy to me to see these athletes who have these extraordinary other gifts somewhere else. I don't know if that translates with like musicians and like that. But athletes, I feel like you always see.
Well, here's what it is. Is the thing about it is that to be a pro athlete is a physical gift.
Mm-hmm.
A decent singer can be coached into being a good singer. A good singer can be coached into being a great singer. A great singer can be coached into being a phenomenal singer. So if you have that talent, you can grow that.
Right.
You can't be, for example, give me a music. J. Cole,
mm-hmm.
Excellent musician.
Yeah,
he can go out and he can play basketball, but J. Cole could never play in the NBA.
Right.
Who else are some Snoop? Snoop's like 6'6". That man could never play in the NBA.
Right.
But you have athletes who can have these other skills, but they have the physical traits to go be that athlete. So that's what they excel at. So I think it would be way more likely that you have athletes that are good at other stuff than other profession. Like you can have people like, for example, I'm sure there's a ton of artists that I can't even think of. Like think about The Rock. He played very high level college football. He couldn't sniff the league. Whereas you could have way more like who's the guy that plays Sean Payton in that movie?
Kevin James.
Kevin James is noted that he is when he was younger was and I don't mean like WWE, like actual like wrestling.
Roman. Yeah.
That he could get down on the mat. Like it was Joe Rogan has said before, obviously I take what he says with a grain of salt, but he said before he's been in those MMA gyms when Kevin James was younger in there. And he's like, make no mistake, he will throw down on the mat with you.
Did I ever tell you actually resemble Joe Rogan? Have you ever done that before?
No, I haven't.
Looking at you as you said that and like clicked.
Should I take that as a compliment or an insult? I don't know.
Yeah, he's not a bad looking guy.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Did I ever tell you about how I ran into him in San Diego? What's that?
I said maybe a racist, but not a bad looking guy.
I mean, definitely. I appreciate it. I tell you about how I ran into him in San Diego one time?
No, you didn't.
I was at some like bar in I think it's called the Gas Lamp District. That's like their like old city in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at like some like piano bar.
Yeah.
And I walked in and Joe Rogan's just like blacked out on stage singing along with the pianos.
What?
Yeah. Just
this podcast days or before that?
No, this is probably like 2014, maybe.
So early pod days, probably.
Yeah, this is probably post Fear Factor, heavy
UFC.
Mm-hmm. Very, very early podcast.
Okay.
Because it's probably like 2013, 2014, something like that. Blacked out, just wandering, just saying hey to everybody, completely annihilated. Had no shoes on. Vividly remember that he had no shoes on. He was just walking around.
This does not surprise me.
No, just
not surprised at all.
And then, actually, the next night, I ran into can't remember the actor's name, but I ran into Carlton.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Yes.
Look at you.
And he was at the bar that they now I have not seen Top Gun. I have to say that I've not seen Top Gun. I don't know if you have, but I have not.
It's been on in the background. I was a little young for Top Gun.
I was at the bar that they filmed. Apparently it was filmed because that was the owner there had to make sure everybody knew That's where they filmed.
All I know is Highway to the Danger Zone. It's really all I know from that movie.
I played the video game Top Gun a lot.
Oh, I don't remember the video game.
Yeah, it was for.
I remember there's a flying game I was really into.
I think it was for PlayStation, the original PlayStation, if I'm recalling correctly.
Man, yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, so that was my friend who was stationed out in San Diego got him to do the Carlton dance for us.
He did it?
He did it. After about 7 shots, he was like, fine.
He's like, fine, I'll do it.
He's like, only because my buddy had on he had his fatigues on. So he goes, only because I have it's hard for me to say no to a man like a serviceman in uniform. He's like, fine.
Did they throw on the Tom Jones song?
No, somebody's played it on the phone. It wasn't on like the because this wasn't like this was just like a bar. Like we're not in like some club. We're just like at some bar like on the beach in San Diego. And somebody played it on the phone. And he just boom, 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 did it real quick, and then was like, "All right, I'm done."
That had to be a moment.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have a smartphone back then. I was very late to the smartphone game, so I don't have any footage of it. But there's a picture floating somewhere on like a way long deleted Facebook account that I might have had of me and him at whatever this bar is in San Diego.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you go to, you've never been to California, have you?
No.
If you go to any of like the main areas in obviously in LA, but you can do it in San Diego as well. Yeah, you can just bump into
randos.
Yeah, it's very like being from here. You're like, man, that's crazy, and then you go there, and like they're just so out and about all the time that people don't even bother them because it's.
Yeah,
it's like you're in line at Dunkin' Donuts and like Matt Stafford's in front of you. It's like, yeah, he's here every Saturday picking up coffee for him and his wife. It's just
right. It is what it is.
So
yeah. Well, Friday we'll be recapping Sixers Bucks last game before the All-Star break. No Devin Caney on Friday. She'll be traveling to Buffalo to cover the lacrosse league, so you'll get more of us. And we'll see what else happens. I got nothing else. Do you have anything else?
Now we'll do we're going to be rebranding one of our big our big Wednesday segment. So we'll debut the rebrand on Friday.
That sounds good. Yep.
And see if I can get another notch in my belt for this season.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we got like 50, 60 degrees coming up. You got anything on the schedule for today?
Today? 56 degrees?
Oh, no, today it's supposed to be 51, but I'm saying tomorrow it's going to be 60.
Oh, this weather is all over the place. It was just 34 yesterday and 20s the day before.
Oh, you're unaware of this? Oh, I'm
sorry.
No.
I think I thought it was going to be 50s this weekend, but this needs to stop.
Right now, it's 46.
I don't like it.
Okay. Tomorrow, you're looking at 63.
That's
ridiculous. Friday, you're looking at 61.
I don't like any of it.
Now, it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, it's going to be in the 40s, but then you have all next week stability in the mid 50s.
Are we getting early spring?
Listen.
Happening?
What's his name? Puxatawny Phil? Is that his name? Yeah. I always used to think that he was a jackass, but maybe he might be onto something.
That's a scam. We never get early spring, but
no.
Listen, I'll take an early spring. I mean, it's only February 16th, so you got to think that March is going to something weird's going to happen in March.
And actually, you know what yesterday was supposed to be?
What's that?
Supposed to be the day pitchers and catchers reported.
Oh, right. Well, apparently, according to the commissioner, they will start the season on time. Also,
how?
I don't know.
How?
But also, DH in the National League.
Is that what they said?
There will be a DH in the National League. So I look at that as if you're going out trying to sign Schwarber, huge for that. I think it benefits a guy like Rhys Hoskins so much who breaks down late in seasons and gets hurt a lot.
Now, is this just for the season, or is this like something they're looking for the collective bargaining agreement? Like, where does that stand? Is this like a new permanent fixture? Is it just a?
Yeah, this is gonna be permanent. They'll be designated here as National League finally.
You know what that means? It means that Bryce Harper will see the end of his contract here.
Yeah,
because What's he, 28 now?
28, 29, somewhere in there.
He's got 10 years left.
Mhm.
Post 35, Bryce Harper's a DH.
Yep.
And now he can do that for this. Oh,
I think it actually gives you like there was the idea of maybe thinking about moving Reese. I think it gives Reese some more years here now.
Now, yes.
Now, like
now you're DH.
I'm excited for him right now
because let's just be honest, he sucks at first base.
Because now you could do things like put Real Muto at first, DH Reese. You
go get a new catcher.
Some days off. At catcher, have him DH.
No, not even doing that. No. I'm going out and getting me a new catcher now. Real Muto is now my first baseman. He's now my first baseman. Reese is now my designated hitter, and I will go out and find a new catcher.
I'm not mad at that.
I will go out and
because again, Reese Hoskins, he breaks down a lot at the end of the year.
You cannot justify Real Muto's contract as a catcher in the next 2 years.
Right.
You can justify his contract as a first baseman in 2 years.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if Hoskins doesn't get hurt, they may make the playoffs. I mean, him getting hurt last year, he was red hot when he got hurt, and it really hurt them that middle part of that lineup, not having him in there to protect Bryce. So
I was a non-believer in the Phillies last year, and I pushed back against it a lot during the season.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing a lot of baseball talk this year.
Big Phil's talk.
Big Phil's talk. We got to try to get down there. What's that?
Especially if Schwarbies comes here. That's who the big fish is. Apparently, they're looking for. So, that'll be perfect now.
They're not allowed to do any transactions right now because of the lockout.
Right.
But I don't know. I forget. I know they just got a new GM, but I don't remember who he is right now. I know Clentak's not the GM.
Dave
Dombrowski. Dave Dombrowski.
Dombrowski.
Is it Dave or Dom?
Dave
Dombrowski better be sitting behind the scenes right now so that whenever it happens, he can begin firing immediately.
Yeah, big tamper talk. The tamper game has to be strong right now.
Yes.
I'm tampering all over the place right now.
I've tampered. You've tampered.
We're all tampering.
He, we, them, it, tampering.
Everybody's tampering.
If you're not tampering, you're not trying.
Exactly.
I don't got anything else.
Marks between everywhere.
At Justin Emery Show on the Bluebird app.
Brad Emery Pod everywhere. BradEmeryShow.com for the merch. 10% off the code Bremy if you forgot like Langhorn.
Use promo code Bremy10 for 10% off your first in-app order at District Taco.
Until Friday, you can be with us, you can be against us, but you're never going to stop us late.